Cynicism in today's world is actually characterized by an attitude of distrust of other people's motives, almost a lack of faith and hope, right? And in the lines of psychology, it's understood to lead towards a very discontent life because it kind of functions on the basis of self fulfilling prophecy as well as confirmation bias. For example, let's take that you are in a romantic relationship, and because you are cynical or skeptical, you do not expect your partner to actually support you or be nice to you. So when they are actually doing nice things, doing sweet gestures for you, you tend to kind of doubt why are they doing this. You think they are pretending, and that might lead to them actually stopping, and you might not even be happy about the fact that they're doing it.
Julia sent me a cactus. She's on a business trip to China and she sent it to me out of the blue. I'm not an idiot. She's gonna break up with me.
Or if they don't do it, if they're not really nice to you, it might make you feel that yes, there you go, I had this hypothesis, people are shit, and look at them being shitty. So cynicism in the psychology lens is essentially a discontentment of life. But in today's video, I would actually like to focus on the OG cynic, Diogenes, and how traditional philosophy or the concept of cynicism is actually very different from how we understand it now. Originating in Greece, the philosophy of cynics was to live in true virtue, in touch with their natural self. So letting go of possession and indulgences was one of the key elements of cynicism at that point of time. The original idea also came from, the first theme came from Antisthenes, who was a student of Socrates, and Diogenes was a student of Antisthenes. There's a very interesting story behind this, that Diogenes really wanted to be Antisthenes' student, but he really was against it, really treated him badly. However, Diogenes completely persisted and said, I am okay being treated however you want, as long as you have something to teach me. And eventually Antisthenes takes him as his disciple, and Diogenes' reputation far supersedes Antisthenes now. So it's very interesting how Diogenes actually lived that life for himself. The term cynic actually comes from a Greek word kynikos, which means dog. And Diogenes was actually called dog because of his lifestyle choices, and not even in a DAWG way. So the concept and cynicism was lived so thoroughly by him, it almost took its name from him. Diogenes was actually banished from Sinope for counterfeiting currency. His dad was a banker, and there are theories that this was done in more of a political sense and not in a financial gain sense, because Sinope at that point of time was kind of disputed between pro-Persian and pro-Greek sentiments and allegiance. And that's just the beginning of his story. He moved to Athens and started to live in complete poverty. He was known to be sleeping in a ceramic jar, and he used to walk around marketplaces in daylight with a lamp, saying, I'm looking for an honest man. This is how Diogenes lived. He lived his philosophy. He modeled his behavior based on what he thought, and he was known for being notorious to pretty much everyone who was very celebrated at that point of time, including Alexander the Great. And there is a story of where he's lying down just under the sun and the shade, and Alexander the Great comes and says, just to test him, that I will give you whatever you want, tell me what you want. And he tells him to move away so that he could face the sun. So I think this tells a lot about his character and what he was about. He lived a very simple life quote unquote simple life away from the conventions of the society. He would go to Socrates lectures, he would disrupt this, disrupt that, essentially not pay attention or pay respect to any of the things that we generally do. However, he never insisted that this is what everyone needs to do either. His concept was self-sufficiency. That was his first teaching, that you need to be sufficient enough within yourself to achieve happiness. He also talks about how family structures are not great. There are dialogues with Socrates in Republic where they both talk about institutions of families are actually not that helpful. It's best that men and women are allowed to be natural, and the children can be a common citizens and not necessarily part of a family structure or parentage. Alright, to sum up, here are the 3 teachings of Diogenes. Number 1 is self-sufficiency. It is about coming to a space where you're not so dependent on other people and other systems to even have your basic needs met. So that's one. Second is, of course, the shamelessness and the outspokenness. That's there for a greater need to actually be able to call out somebody, call out certain customs which are not required and we carry forward without any need sometimes. Third one is moral excellence in the sense of training, rigorous training of asceticism. Asceticism is essentially very severe self-discipline and an avoidance of indulgence. Alright, this is my video on cynicism, and I would like to know how cynic are you in the modern sense or in the earlier, the OG sense. I think it's very interesting to understand ourselves through these characters as well. So I don't know if someone even related or resonated with Diogenes or wants to live that way. Let me know. Alright, this is Sci-Fi Cult.